Welcome in this session. Here in this session, we'll be discussing how to see all the records that are there in the table. In the last class, we learned how to register a candidate. So there was a registration form, and if we can run this, you can see that there was a registration, and from there we were using the insert command to insert all information so that those information can be used for login, name, email, password, status, date, etc. Now, today, I've made two programs to discuss with you. This is list one. I'll try to execute and uh, I'll be using uh, list.php. In list.php, we want to see all the values which are here in this login table. As you might be remembering that in the last session, there was a college database. In this college database, there is a login table. And in this login table, we have ID, name, email, password, status, and date. So these are the list of registered users, and these informations are used to log in. So the users who are active will be able to log in. The users who are pending will not be able to log in. Now, if we want to see the report of all this, then this is the class that will be concentrating on. So show list, you can see the same list of values that are there in this table, 1 Rajkumar to 6 Mandeep. These are the values that are there, and you can see here 1 Rajkumar to 6 Mandeep. So in this show list button, we'll see what are the things that we have done. So if we come to the code, you can see we start with include config.php. This config.php is used to connect the PHP program with the MySQL database. I'll not discuss that. And then today we have only one button, input type submit, value is equals to show list, name is submit. And when this button is clicked, this is the code that gets executed. So to see all records, we have the select command, select asterisk from login without any condition will return all the columns of this table and all the records. Now that has to be shown in a tabular format. So we are using the table tag. Table tag creates a table. So I've created a table tag. I've given the heading. The heading will be ID, the name, the email, the date. If you can come to the output, this is the heading ID, name, email, date, and status. And this has to be displayed once. So it is outside the loop. Now, in the loop, what we are doing, we are fetching one record in this row array. We are taking out the ID, name, email from that array into variable, and then we are printing it in a row. In a table, you might have covered this HTML part, how to create a table. So in a table, one row is printed with tr tag. So in TD, in the first TD, we are using this ID variable. In the second TD, we are using this name variable. And then we are using this email variable. Then we are using the date variable. And then we are using the status to show you the status. And this while loop will execute number of times, that is the number of records available in the table. So if the table has 5 records, it will iterate 5 times and then will come out and close this. So this is very simple. We have executed the select command. We have got all the records in this result. Now what we are doing, we are taking one record, one row at a time. We are printing it. So every time this loop will execute, one row will be taken from the record of list, and then we'll be printing it in the table in a row format, and then we will be closing once we come out of the loop, we'll be closing the table with the table tag. This table tag should be closed. So this is how we have closed. So this is the code to show all the records, and this code will execute when this button is submitted. So if you can see this, uh, if we run for the first time, it will have a show list button. And as soon as we click the show list button, all the records will be displayed. And this is the very simple logic. Select asterisk from login is used to display all the records of table. These are the columns that are available in the table. These are the variables in PHP where the values are coming, and then we are using a loop to print all the records. So in a project, whenever we will be creating a project, there will be a lot of reports to be created, and all those reports will be created with the help of this logic. Okay. Now I'll show one more program that is very similar to this, but first let me execute that. In this program, see, we are showing users with status active, users with the status pending, and we are showing all. So by default, it will be all, and if we show list, it will display all the users. Now, if we want to show only the active users, then we can see only the active users. If we want to see only the pending users, then we can get the pending list. So many a times, the list of values that we want to see are conditional. Like in this, there are users which are status as pending. There are users with active. So there are two types of status, active and pending. And then the third value is for all. Now, to see this, what we have done, let us come. I've typed in the program so that the time is a little bit saved. We can see we have started with the config.php. Now, in this form, in the previous program, there is only one submit button, show list. And here above that, we are using a combo box select. The name is a status. These are the three options, all, active, and pending. And when this submit button is clicked, first we are taking out what is the value that the user has selected, if it is all, if it is pending. So this $status variable will get the value that the user has selected. So if the status is all, then the select command will be select asterisk from login. But if the status is not all, it is active or pending, then it will go to the else part, and the SQL command will have select asterisk from login, where status is, this is the value of the status. It can be active, it can be pending, depending on what the user has selected. So here you can see in this, there are three options. If the option is all, then we don't have to use any condition in the selected statement. So this is how we will be using. And if the status value is active or the status value is pending, we'll be using in the where condition is status is active or status pending. And the remaining code remains the same. This code remains the same that we have used in the previous program, because we have to show all the columns and all the records that comes in the result of this select command. So before executing the query, we have checked what is the value that the user wants to see. If the user wants to see all the records, then we'll be using no condition. And if the user wants to see only some record, then it will be in this way. So in the last few classes, what we have done, we have learned how to use the values in the database to log in. Then we have learned how we can register user. We have seen how to insert. And then here we want to see the number of users as a list. And one thing that is remaining that we will be covering in the coming session, that suppose in this output, the admin wants this pending to be changed to active or this active to be changed to pending, then they will have a button here to change the status. And when it is clicked, the status needs to be changed. And for that, we'll need to use the concept of Ajax. Ajax is asynchronous JavaScript. So we will be using the concepts of Ajax. Ajax we have not learned. That will be the first session in the coming week. So before we move on to Ajax, try to understand up till now. Create another table. First of all, try to execute this the program that we have discussed. Then try to create some more tables with different columns, different data types, and try to execute this. This we are taking as a project because we have already created login. We have registered. Now we are, this is the part of the admin panel, and we'll also learn how to create our own admin panel. There is an admin panel, like in your dashboard also, when you log in, you get a lot of information. That panel is called admin panel. So we'll also learn how to create our own admin panel using JavaScript, CSS, Bootstrap, everything. So try to complete this that we have discussed today. If you have any question, you can put in the question.